stop eating your store-bought gluten-free bread immediately. You haven't escaped the poison. You've just invited a metabolic Trojan horse to violently corrode your cells and starve your gut. Watch until the end to discover the zero-gluten biological miracle that actually resurrects your health. Listen to that deep, resonant crackle echoing through the room. Look at the perfectly golden, rustic crust and the gentle wisp of steam rising from the soft, springy crumb as the heavy blade falls away. Watch how the rich, grass-fed butter immediately melts into those warm, airy pockets. Your brain is instantly flooded with memories of warmth, of childhood, of absolute comfort. Your senses are screaming that this is a masterpiece of traditional, artisan wheat baking. But what if I told you that everything your eyes and ears are telling you is a beautiful deception? What if I revealed that this rustic loaf contains absolutely zero wheat, zero gluten, and zero inflammatory grains? More shockingly, what if I told you that the expensive gluten-free bread currently sitting on your supermarket shelves might actually be destroying your cellular health faster than the gluten you tried so hard to avoid? At Canada Senior Health Guide 04 warmly welcomes you to a revelation that will forever change how you view food and medicine. If you are ready to break free from the cycle of dietary deception and reclaim your vitality, please subscribe to our channel right now to support us in bringing you these life-saving truths. For decades, I have sat behind a cold clinic desk and looked into the tired eyes of patients whose bodies were crying out in pain, forced into strict dietary exile just to survive. I have witnessed the profound grief of people mourning the foods they love. The modern food industry has sold us a tragic illusion. They have convinced you that eating dry, crumbly cardboard loaded with highly refined rice starches and chemical binders is a step toward healing. It is a terrible lie. I will never forget a patient named Walter, a man in his early 60s, desperate to extinguish the silent fires of inflammation ravaging his joints. When he eliminated wheat to save his life, he tried to replace his morning ritual with commercial gluten-free toast. Within a month, his blood work was an absolute disaster. He was eating bread that was structurally vacant but metabolically explosive. He was unknowingly subjecting his body to violent glucose spikes, triggering a vicious biological rusting process called glycation, where excess sugars bind to proteins, corroding his cells from the inside out like iron left out in the freezing rain. He had simply traded one systemic poison for another. Today, that quiet tragedy ends. We are going to step away from empty carbohydrates and perform an act of biological alchemy in your very own kitchen. We will deconstruct the architecture of traditional dough and rebuild a complex, elastic matrix using the profound science of plant-based biomimicry. I will show you how to forge a loaf that perfectly mimics the comforting chew of artisan bread without triggering a single inflammatory alarm in your immune system. Stay with me, because you are about to possess the exact medical and culinary formula to heal your body and satisfy your soul, one perfect slice at a time. To truly appreciate the healing power of what we are about to create, we must first understand the microscopic battlefield that commercial alternatives have created inside your fragile metabolic system. When you walk down the health food aisle, you are met with beautifully packaged loaves promising dietary salvation. But as a clinician who studies blood chemistry, I see these for what they truly are: metabolic Trojan horses. The food industry, in their rush to capitalize on the gluten-free movement, simply replaced one inflammatory protein with an avalanche of hyper-refined starches. They stripped away the wheat and substituted it with white rice flour, tapioca starch, and potato starch. These are ingredients that have been pulverized into powders so microscopically fine that your digestive system does not even have to work to break them down. When you consume a slice of this commercial bread, It hits your bloodstream with the sheer velocity of drinking a can of liquid soda. I have tracked the continuous glucose monitors of hundreds of patients who were desperately trying to do the right thing. I have watched in horror as their blood sugar levels skyrocketed within minutes of eating commercial gluten-free toast. This violent surge forces your pancreas into a state of absolute panic, pumping out massive amounts of insulin to clear the toxic levels of glucose from your blood. Over time, this daily assault exhausts your cellular receptors, leading straight to insulin resistance, crushing fatigue, and a relentless accumulation of visceral fat around your internal organs. But the tragedy does not stop at blood sugar. Because these commercial loaves are completely devoid of meaningful dietary fiber, they act as a barren wasteland for your gut microbiome. The beneficial bacteria in your digestive tract, the very microorganisms responsible for regulating your immune system and producing your serotonin, are literally starving to death. You are spending a premium price to eat a product that accelerates aging, promotes systemic inflammation, and leaves your body chronically undernourished. We have been conditioned to accept this miserable compromise out of fear, but your biology demands and deserves something infinitely better. Once we strip away these highly refined metabolic disruptors, we are left with a blank canvas waiting to be transformed by nature's most profound cellular architects. To rebuild a loaf of bread that heals rather than harms, we cannot rely on empty starches. We must forage for ingredients that speak the same biological language as our own DNA. The secret to our zero-gluten miracle lies in a breathtaking botanical phenomenon known as psyllium husk. In the clinical world, psyllium is revered as a powerful gastrointestinal healer. But in our artisan kitchen, it becomes the holy grail of biomimicry. When finely ground psyllium husk meets boiling water, it undergoes a radical physical transformation, creating a highly elastic, gel-like matrix. This hydrocolloid web perfectly replicates the exact structural tension and stretchy chewiness of developed gluten, trapping pockets of air and steam without a single trace of wheat. But unlike gluten, which can tear at the delicate lining of a compromised gut, this psyllium matrix acts as a soothing biological bandage, sweeping through your digestive tract, binding to toxins, and providing a lush feast for your microbiome. To build the rich, tender crumb of our loaf, we turn to the humble almond. By using finely blanched almond flour, we are bypassing the carbohydrate trap entirely and infusing our bread with a massive dose of heart-healthy, monounsaturated fats, bone-building magnesium, and cellular-protecting vitamin E. The almonds provide a dense, buttery foundation that satisfies your primal hunger, signaling to your brain that you are profoundly nourished, entirely preventing the blood sugar crashes associated with traditional baking. We then weave in organic flaxseed, a powerhouse of anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids and lignans that actively work to extinguish the biological fires burning in your joints and tissues. Instead of using chemical binders and dough conditioners, we are utilizing the structural brilliance of whole egg whites and a touch of raw apple cider vinegar. The vinegar not only acts as a natural preservative, but activates our rising agents, creating a chemical reaction that forces the heavy nut flours to lift, expand, and breathe. These are not merely baking ingredients. They are highly targeted medicinal compounds disguised as everyday pantry staples. Taking these raw medicinal elements and transforming them into a warm, crusty loaf requires a delicate, almost spiritual dance between ancient culinary arts and modern biological understanding. The process begins with a quiet precision, whisking the almond flour, ground flax, and psyllium husk together until they form a perfectly uniform sand. There is a specific moment in this process that still takes my breath away, no matter how many times I perform it. It is the exact second you pour the boiling water over the dry ingredients. You do not gently fold this dough. You must act with intention and speed. As the scalding water hits the psyllium, you can actually feel the matrix coming alive under your wooden spoon. The mixture instantly seizes, transforming from a loose liquid into a dense, muscular dough that pulls away from the sides of the bowl. It possesses a magnificent, heavy elasticity that springs back against your touch, demanding to be shaped by human hands. There is no agonizing wait for yeast to ferment, no endless cycles of proofing and punching down. This dough is shaped into a rustic, beautiful mound, scored deeply across its surface to allow the trapped steam to escape, and placed immediately into a searing hot oven. As the heat penetrates the core of the loaf, the alchemy reaches its climax. The apple cider vinegar reacts with the baking powder, releasing thousands of tiny carbon dioxide bubbles that are immediately trapped by the flexible psyllium web. The loaf blooms upward, cracking violently along the score marks, creating those deeply caramelized, jagged edges that artisan bakers spend a lifetime trying to perfect. The aroma that fills your kitchen is not the sharp scent of commercial yeast, but a deep, nutty, deeply comforting fragrance that reaches deep into your memory. It smells of safety. It smells of home. You are watching a dietary resurrection happen right behind the glass of your oven door, proving that we do not have to sacrifice culinary joy to achieve absolute physical health. When you finally pull that dark, golden masterpiece from the oven and hear that familiar, triumphant crackle of the crust cooling on the rack, you are not just holding a baked good. You are holding a profound instrument of cellular restoration. I want you to picture Walter again, the patient who was slowly deteriorating on a diet of commercial lies. When I taught him this exact formulation, his life changed in ways that modern pharmaceuticals could not achieve. He began eating 2 thick slices of this rustic bread every single morning, slathered in rich butter. Within 6 weeks, the persistent ache in his knuckles vanished. His fasting insulin dropped to optimal levels, and the chronic brain fog that had plagued his afternoons completely evaporated. He was no longer eating to survive. He was eating to thrive. He had reclaimed his morning ritual, his psychological comfort, and most importantly, his biological integrity. This is the reality I want for you. The food you put into your body should never be a source of fear, nor should it be a reluctant compromise that secretly drains your vitality. When you slice into this zero-gluten miracle, when you feel the soft tension of the crumb and taste the rich, deeply satisfying flavor, you are sending a powerful signal of healing to every single cell in your body. You are proving that nature, when properly understood, provides everything we need to heal ourselves. Here at Canada Senior Health Guide 04, our mission is to peel back the layers of industry deception and hand you the practical, delicious tools to rebuild your health from the ground up. If you felt a spark of hope reading this, if you are ready to banish the inflammation and take back control of your kitchen, please share this message with someone you love. Subscribe to our journey and let us continue to bake, heal, and thrive together. The journey from the health food aisle's deceptive packaging to the creation of a truly healing zero-gluten loaf represents a profound shift in how we approach our daily nutrition. Commercial gluten-free breads, packed with hyper-refined starches like tapioca and white rice flour, act as metabolic saboteurs that violently spike blood sugar, exhaust the pancreas, and starve the gut microbiome. We have been misled to accept these inflammatory, nutrient-void compromises under the guise of healthy living. However, by turning to nature's biological alchemy, we can resurrect the joy of bread without the biological cost. By utilizing ingredients that speak the language of our DNA, psyllium husk to create a soothing, gut-healing matrix, almond flour for healthy fats and satiety, and flaxseed to extinguish inflammation. We transform a dietary staple into targeted medicine. This artisan approach proves that we do not have to choose between culinary comfort and cellular health. Just like Walter, whose life was revitalized by this exact recipe, you too can reclaim your morning rituals and biological integrity. Baking this bread is more than a culinary triumph. It is a bold act of rebellion against the food industry's hollow promises, and a commitment to nourishing your body at a microscopic level. It reminds us that true health is built in our own kitchens, using whole, intelligent ingredients that allow us to heal, thrive, and enjoy food without fear. Convenience often masks compromise, and a healthy label on the front of a package does not guarantee biological nourishment. True health cannot be found by simply swapping one highly processed ingredient for another. It is achieved by returning to whole, biologically recognizable foods that work in harmony with our cellular design and gut microbiome. Stop trusting the marketing claims on the front of food packaging and start scrutinizing the ingredient lists on the back. Immediately discard hyper-refined alternatives like white rice flour or potato starch and replace them with nutrient-dense, structurally sound ingredients like almond flour, psyllium husk, and flaxseed. Dedicate just a fraction of your week to preparing your own foundational foods at home. By doing this, you turn every meal into a proactive opportunity to lower inflammation, stabilize your blood sugar, and heal your body from the inside out. What is your favorite healthy ingredient swap that you use to recreate a classic comfort food? Please take a moment to share your perspective and ideas in the comments section below, so our entire community can reference them and get inspired. If you found value in this message and want to help us continue exposing industry secrets and sharing healing recipes, please subscribe to our channel. Your support gives us the motivation to keep creating powerful, life-changing content for you.